Okay, lesson 6, subtracting whole numbers. And again, since these first 10 videos are really before you get to high school math, I'm kind of going quickly through them. So with subtracting, I'm going to go a little bit slower. I don't need to read the objective or the vocabulary. These words, minuend and subtrahend, you may never ever see them, but some math books may have them, so I had to put them in there. The most of the times you'll see difference, the word difference, and that tells you to subtract. And so we got to talk about borrowing, and we're going to see borrowing here in this video because that's important. Borrowing or regrouping or whatever they call it. Okay, so let's look at the numbers we're going to subtract here. Okay, so now again, everything goes from place value down, column down. So we're going to subtract 8 minus 7, which is 1. Let me get my scroll up here. 1. 7 minus 1, which is 6. And then 6 minus 5, which is 1. So the difference of these two numbers is 161. Again, now let's look at the second example here. Now, you cannot subtract 1 and 5 in numbers that are set up like this. So what you're going to have to do is borrow. So you need a number bigger than 5. So we borrow 1 from the tens column. We change the 9 to an 8 because we borrowed 10 from it. We added 10 to the 1. So now we have 11. We don't add 1 to it, make it 2. We're borrowing a 10. So now this is 11 minus 5, which becomes 6 because you need a number bigger than the number on the bottom. 8 minus 3 is 5. 5 minus 2 is 3. Bring down your comma, and then 4 minus 1 is 3. And the difference of these two numbers is 3,356. Example 2. Now this is where a lot of people get tricked up. So I'm going to show you how this one works. 2 minus 2 is 0. 3 subtract 6. Can't do. So what are we going to have to do? We're going to have to borrow. There's nothing here. So just going to have to keep going left until we find a number. Nothing here, nothing here, nothing here, nothing here. So what do? Well, 2 minus 2 is 0. We have to borrow from the 1. Now be careful. Most people will make the mistake. They'll put the 10 here, but they will forget that you have to borrow. And you have to keep doing the same thing until you get all the way down to the place value that you need, the larger number. So what I actually did was borrow a place value over into the column to the right, so as to make this number 13. You do not add a 1 to 3. This in actuality is 10 more than 100. So 10 tens make 100. And so we're actually borrowing a 10 and making this 13, not 4. So 13 minus 6 is 7. 9 minus 6 is 3. 9 minus 4 is 5. 9 minus 5 is 4. And 9 minus 9 is 0. So the difference of these two numbers is 45,370. Okay, those are our two examples. Try your practice problems. And 9 minus 9 is 0. 7 minus 7 is 0. 8 minus 2 is 6. 6 minus 5 is 1. There was nothing to borrow here. So I'm sorry these numbers got a little off. This 3 is supposed to go with this 9. So now this is an example of double borrowing. So we have to borrow a 10 from the 2 and make this 13 minus 9, which is 4. But look now, you have 1 minus 6. So you're going to have to borrow again to make this 3 to make that 11. 11 minus 6 is 5. Now we have 3 minus 7, which we can't do. So we got to borrow from the 1, make that 0, make this 13. 13 minus 7 is 6. We can't do 0 minus 9. So we're going to have to borrow from the 10, make that a 9, make this a 10. 10 minus 9 is 1. 9 minus 4 is 5. So the difference of these two numbers is 51,654. And again, problem 2, more the same, just borrowing. And you have to start at the numbers on the right and then work your way left until you're left with no numbers. 17 minus 9 is 8. Bring down your comma, 0, and then 2, 1, 10. 10 minus 7 is 3. So again, the principles of borrowing. And you're going to need to go into another textbook and really practice this if this lesson is hard to understand. You're just going to have to practice until you get that you borrow 10. Because 10, 1 in one column is 10 in the column to the right. And a lot of people just forget it. And this is getting kind of sloppy, but 13 minus 5 is 8. 9 minus 4 is 5. 5 minus 3 is 2. 10 minus 2 is 8. And that's the difference in these two numbers. Okay, get your practice in. And make sure you line your columns up, because you'll see numbers written sideways. You might see these numbers written sideways instead of on top of each other. So where the 206 million is to the left, then you'll see a minus sign, and the 123 million is to the right. So you'll see something like this. And then what you're going to have to do is vertically line them up and then do your subtraction. You'll see a lot of that.